All right, y'all. Welcome. Thank you guys so much for hopping on last minute. Kinleigh and I have been in conversation for the past couple days, and we're like, let's just do this thing tonight. And so we are so excited. Kinleigh, welcome to our Team Revive Zoom. We have been watching you from afar and loving all the momentum. And when you want your team to be on fire, you get around the fire so you can jump into it. And so we are so excited. If you guys don't know, Kinleigh, first of all, was the #1 spot in the convention contest, literally killed it. And so we want to hear all about what you're doing. I'd love to hear in the comments if you guys have, well, first of all, I want to hear your goals. Drop your goals in the comments. We want to know them. I cannot admit people as fast as they're coming in. Let's go. All right. We want to hear your May goals. Okay. I'm super excited. I'm not going to belabor the beginning with what the incentives are and all of that. You guys can check that out. We'll talk about it more next week. You've seen them. But I also want to hear some wins. Like, somebody start the chat out with what was a win that you guys had in April and what are goals that you guys have for May, so we can be praying for one another, holding one another accountable, all the things. Let's go. Senior goal. All right. I love it. I love the scary goal with the goal that you're like, this is what I'm going to get, but this is what I'm going to aim for. Let's go, Ruby. Shelby, you're a part of a Ruby team. I love it. I love it. I love it. All right. Well, Kinleigh, I know that this month is your 2-year anniversary. I don't know a ton about you. So if you would just like open it up, share a little bit about you, we will pop back and forth. I know question and answer is your favorite format. So I've thought of a couple questions, but also if you guys start to get questions, pop them in the chat and we will throw them her way too. But would you just introduce yourself, share your journey with Plexus in a short form, and then we will ask you some questions.
Perfect. Thank you for having me. I'm super excited. So yeah, as you said, it is my 2-year anniversary of starting the products with Plexus. And I feel like I was kind of 1 foot in with the business for a little bit. So I don't know if it was May or June that I technically signed my first person. I would have to look back, but it kind of was I just want my products paid for type of deal that turned into, okay, a little extra cash. At the time when I started, I was doing hair 60 hours a week. I do hair from home. I have 2 little girls. A lot going on, like anybody, right? I had every excuse in the book to not have the time for this. So that's kind of the excuse I made for a little bit before I put both feet in. It was kind of like I needed that nudge and that push and that vision casting from my leaders to really understand what was right in front of me that was so attainable and so right there. I just had to make the choice to do it. It really was that simple. So once I decided, I think I was somewhere between right after going gold, I think is when I was like, I'm in this. Like, I'm ready. I want to be a diamond. Like, it wasn't even like, maybe I'll be this. I was like, no, I want to be a diamond. So then it was like, my first convention was last year and in Nashville. And I went there as a senior Ruby. And that was anybody who is able to go to this convention, get yourself there. I don't care if you just started yesterday. I don't care what rank you are. That was monumental for my business and for my mindset and just all around like a vision casting moment for myself. I did not have anyone on my team there with me, like that was under me. It was just me and my uplines. And I remember just like looking around and seeing all these teams together and thinking to myself, like, I want that next year. I want this huge team with me. I want that special diamond seating. I want that VIP lounge, all those things. So, needless to say, the following month in July, I went Emerald. September, I went Sapphire. And then this February 29th, which happens to be my husband's birthday. So I really I had this like feeling inside of me. I know it sounds cheesy, but like months before, it was like, who knows when I'm going to go diamond? I know I want it sooner than later, but it was like, if I could go diamond, my husband has a birthday once every 4 years. Like, if I could go diamond on his leap year birthday, how cool would that be? Like, the cards aligned. Like, I was like, I'm doing it. I'm doing it. And I did it. And the way I have done it all is with my team. Like, you can't do this alone. You can't go to diamond alone. You can go, senior gold alone, maybe Ruby if you're like a wild woman, but like, you can't do this without a team. And so a huge thing for me is building that trust and love and community with my team. Like, we are so connected and so bonded and so open with each other, and just like we bounce ideas off each other. And I always say that like the ones who are willing to show up and pour into me like I pour into them, meaning like you're going to spend the time that I'm going to spend, I'll meet you there, you know? Whatever you're willing to put in, I'll put in back with you. Whether that's talking all day long or that's talking once every few days, what you're willing to put in is what you're going to get out. So, in short, that's my journey.
I love that. Can you, what was your hardest push for a rank up? So obviously you made up your mind when you went into convention. Can you think of a time where you feel like you got stuck? It was hard to like move forward. Was there something that like shifted that?
Yeah, I think that every rank has had its own challenge. Quite honestly, I think my hardest rank, as far as like, honestly, senior gold was really hard because I still hadn't had a full on team. I still didn't have people that were as committed as me. And it sounds crazy. And I tell so many of my girls, because senior gold is where so many people get like, it's like that limbo of finding your team and doing it on your own. I think for me, that was really, really hard. And it was like, I just want to find people who want this like me. So I think that was hard. And then I think too, like you go through rebuilding, you know, you go through people who are in it, and then all of a sudden they don't even want to speak to you for a little bit, and it's this up and down. What I have found is finding people who genuinely want it like me has been the key to success. And when they're feeling any like, is this worth it, is it, and I'm like, just sitting there and being there for them and talking to them about it and being like, I have been there, like, it is hard, this is not easy. If you want to go to the top, it's not going to be easy, it's going to take sacrifices, it's going to take, I don't, it's so silly, but I don't watch TV shows, I don't really read books anymore. I spend my extra time that I have at night catching up and doing plexus, and I do it all throughout the day. So, and as far as being stuck, Sapphire, after I ranked Sapphire, I didn't re-rank 1 month. That was the only time I've ever, since hitting a rank, any rank in Plexus, I've never not re-ranked and grew a little bit. In December, I was 50 points short of re-ranking Sapphire, and that was pushing till the bitter end. And it was so devastating for me. But I cried for 15 minutes. I shook it off, and I was like, get your blank back together, girlfriend, and move on, because you've got stuff to do, you know?
I love it. Well, I know you just had somebody rank Emerald last month and you're developing leaders. What are your key things that you're doing? Do you have like top three things that you're doing to develop leaders? You said you want people to run with you, catch the vision with you. Are there certain things that you can tell us or give us tips? Like, how are you developing those leaders?
So I think it all goes back to like figuring out if they want it. Um, so this is my third emerald last month, Gabby, and she's been with me since the beginning. But for a while, and she'll admit this, she didn't want it. It was like she was 1 foot out for a long time. And once she decided, honestly, like for her, it's so funny. She's so much like me when it comes to like, we love like prizes, and like some people are like, I just want money. And me and Gabby are like, no, we want like prizes and privileges. And like, we want to sit and on the lounge couch at convention and eat like salami and olives. Like, it sounds so silly, but like that stuff works for some people. So I think well, I've known her forever. I've done her hair for like 15 years. I've known her forever, but I think getting to know people and know what will help them visualize, like what will be a vision casting moment for them, you know? So for Gabby, it was like, no joke, she will tell me like, you literally telling me all the privileges at convention, because she had to hit this month, right, to get those privileges at this convention. That was what did it for her. That was that extra push she needed to be like, okay, I'm running this month, let's go, you know? And it wasn't easy, but she did it because she put her mind to it. It's having those talks with people and making them realize like, listen, like if you want it, I will help you get it, we will do it together, you just have to commit with me, that's it.
I love it. Yes, the commitment there. Well, talk to us about your recruiting and like you had like what the what? How did you get that many convention credits? And how many do you like recruit on an average in a month? And like what is your recruiting process look like?
So average in a month, it fluctuates so much. Like this past month, it was probably my lowest recruiting month I've ever had. I hate even saying it out loud. I only signed 3 people, but I developed a lot of leaders. I have a new level one that went Ruby. I just have so many legs and so many leaders that I've learned that like I have to be okay with shifting to less recruiting, even though that's my sweet spot and something I'm so passionate about. It's not that I stop. I never stop. It's just that I don't have the time now to be as big of a recruiter as I was. But with that being said, the month I went diamond, I think I probably recruited like 25 to 30. I mean, I would say on my big months, 25 to 30 is an average for me. But it just depends on the month and it depends on the focus of where I need to be and who I need to be there for. Um, because Gabby obviously was going for Emerald and she recruited a huge amount and she is a big recruiter. And I think that everybody has their strengths with that. But my biggest tip for like recruiting and how I get people, I show up very, I think, honest and real and vulnerable on my stories. Like I'm very like open about, probably too open. And I just say like what I feel, what the products have done for me, all those things. I post daily. Like I post multiple times a day. I'm always on my stories every day. Um, I sprinkle in like other things that aren't Plexus, of course. Like I put my kids in, my family, just my life. It's like I'm documenting my life throughout the day, and I think that that makes people connect. And I think being really real and obviously I post that I'm selling a product. I don't hide that, but I try to be the least amount salesy, I guess, as possible while still being salesy because this is sales. And I'm very honest about it. I'm like, yeah, I make money from doing this, but these are great products. And the reason and I think my network, right? I only had like 1,200 friends when I started this on Facebook, but I think my network knows me enough to know that I'm a pretty honest person and they trust that I'm not steering them wrong.
I love that. So what does it look like? You're posting and then are people reaching out to you? Do you have a reach out process? What does that look like after the fact?
So as far as like most of my like new customers come from them reaching out to me first, but that doesn't mean that I'm not getting them from reach outs because I do. Okay, this is what I always tell people. If we feel stuck or no one's reaching out to us, then we have to do something different. So cold messaging, yes, I'm all about it. I always call it like room temperature messaging because it's like these people know me. It's not some stranger, right? They've seen they've seen your stuff. So I just will, I keep it very simple. I'll just kind of pop in and be like, hey, and whatever their name is, like, hey, Sally, I hope all is well. I am sure you've seen all my posts about these amazing products. They've been a super big game changer for me. And if you had any interest at all, I would love to send you some info. And I just kind of leave it at that. A lot of them, I mean, for every 30 I send, one will respond. It's like you never know. But I've gotten business builders that way. I had a girl I went to high school with, Amanda, who's on my team. She literally was like, it was actually last year in May. Um, she was like, I asked her, I said, would you have ever reached out to me if I didn't reach out to you first? And she said, no, I wouldn't have. I would have just kept watching and been nervous to say anything. So you don't know who's out there that might be just like, I'm nervous. What if it's a scam or what if it's they just like, sometimes they need you to make that first move. So it's never going to hurt anything.
Yeah, I love that. And I heard somebody did a training talking about how like some people almost feel more cared for when you reach out to them. They're like, we've seen that you're losing weight, you feel better, you're making money, and we were just waiting for you to reach out to us. Or you thought like they almost think we don't think that they can do it because we haven't reached out to them. So it's more of like that motive from the heart. I absolutely love that. I did a lot of reach outs this past month. Just boosting really the algorithm. If you think about when you message them, my whole like whatever the landing page has changed based like what I see is now different and they're different people are commenting on my stuff. So I'm positive that those messages then produced fruit of people seeing my stuff more and me seeing their stuff more. Okay, I'm getting questions in the chat as well. So let me pop a couple of these at you. Suggestions for a homeschooling mom who has limited access to people. What do you suggest to find new people to talk to Plexus with about?
Oh, yeah, yeah, that's a good one. So I'm assuming you're on Facebook. Um, I literally suggest, and I do this too, I suggest to my girls literally add 5 to 10 people a day. I usually go to like the people you may know and like we have friends in common or whatever, but I don't know them. And I just add a ton of women. I don't add men because I just don't personally because you just don't know what you're gonna get there. But and my stuff's private. So I don't have like a big audience that can see it unless I add them. So I highly suggest adding new friends. And also if you have any like local mom groups or anything like that in that you're not a part of, maybe like find like a local mom page and reach out and start doing like play dates or get together or meet for coffee, just things like that to get yourself in different networks and meet new friends. It'll be fun anyways. Like mentally, we need that, especially if you are home all the time. And then that is going to get you new networks too. And you don't have to be like, hey, it's hi, do you want to buy my plexus? Just like get to know them and they'll be like, what do you do? And you'll be like, oh, I actually sell for this company. It's been really awesome. I'm able to be home with my kids, and just I think those kind of things are really, really beneficial.
I love that. What about retention? Let's talk about retention because you've obviously had a very successful business. You're not only ranking up, but you're maintaining rank. So, how do you get people to keep their subscriptions on? What do you do for a successful retention rate?
So it's a lot of different things. I have I think you guys have all probably felt this, like people see auto ship and they freak out, you know? So I always am very upfront with them if they ask, and just explain to them like what they're going to get from that. And if they, at any time they do want to turn it off or they do need to push it out, to let me know. If they are, if they have turned their subscription off and I see that, I might reach out to them and offer to pay their shipping, like, hey, shipping's on me this month, little things like that. You know what I mean? Like, or how's your products doing? Did you need any more? I have a very, and my team's like this too. We just are in contact with them all the time. We don't use a platform. We strictly message each person. We don't create pages. We don't create group chats. We keep it very personal. I think that's super important. I think when you create too big of pages and all your VIPs are in one space, they can't tell you like, I had really bad diarrhea or they can't be honest with you. And then they're just gonna be like, never mind, I'm out of here. So it is more work, yes, but we are very, and I always tell them, like, I'll check in weekly, at first, and then it's monthly after that. It's just kind of like always checking in and figuring out, like, okay, well, maybe those products weren't what were for you, and maybe let's try this time, and just really, really just trying your best to keep them going.
Troubleshooting with them. I love that. Um, what does your week look like? And super fascinating that you're still cutting hair. I'm assuming that's a huge passion of yours. So you'll continue to do that as you want, and your clients love you. So your mom, you're super, super busy. So how do you manage your time? What does your week look like? Do you break it down? You have a time management app? Like, tell us all the things. What does your week look like?
Oh no, I am like a carefree, free-spirited hippie at heart. Like, no, there is no management of anything in my life. There is no organization. There is none of that. I always say I'm like type Z. I don't even know if my type exists. I just take, this is so bad. I just take every hour of the day at a time. I'm so invested in it that like, yeah, and my husband, oh, Hillary commented, one of my girls, Josh is the manager. Literally my husband. Honestly, you guys, if it wasn't for him, I couldn't do this. He does like tons of back office stuff for me. He's such a big part of this and he does like stock market stuff from home. So we're both home all day. Um, he cooks dinner every night. He cleans. I couldn't do it without him. Like the way my house is maintained and stuff is because we're a partnership, in life. And as far as hair, like I was doing 60 hours a week and then it's slowly gotten down to where I'm like probably doing like 30 hours a week now, and it's like, of course, my clients are like, you better not stop. You better not stop. And I'm like, I don't think I'm going to stop fully ever. I think it keeps a really big window open for me to get people to sign up for Plexus too. I think keeping that piece of my life is a huge reason so get some hairstylists because I have a team of like 7 of them, you guys. There might be 8 now. A lot of them. They're very good at it because especially if they've been doing it for a long time, I've built, a 17-year career with these clients who love me and know I would never suggest something to them if I didn't believe in it myself. So I think I think my hair career has been a huge reason for my success too.
Yes, and I think that all the time. So if you're on here and you have a hairdresser, that's who you need to recruit next because I do think that they are one of the best business builders, but it's because they built their own business cutting hair and they can talk to anyone and they're very good at relationship asking questions because they do that for 2 hours while they're doing your hair. So I absolutely agree with that. Bree asked about your cash offers, which we do cash rebates too. Do you feel like that helps you recruit more? Is it hit or miss? What do you feel about cash rebates?
Oh, yeah, of course it helps. I mean, people just love a deal. It's like I always tell myself every month, I'm like, I'm not doing any rebates, not doing it. Nope, nope, nope. And then another month comes and I'm like, my biggest thing is it's like, okay, if I can get them to try these products and get them in their hands for a little money off in the beginning, that's worth it to me. It takes money to make money, right? We're building a business, we're building an income. So if, I always just make sure I'm never, obviously, especially early on stages, like that you're never in the red, right? Like you always want to make sure what you're putting out is coming back in. Um, but yeah, I think rebates are okay. I think that I I'll post sales and stuff, but I think a lot of times too, like I'll have like a lot of my girls, like if especially if they're newer, I'll have them put their prospects in a chat with me. Okay. So like we'll do a three-way chat. This is huge too. Um, and it'll be like, okay, hey, like if they comment on your post, just don't even ask them, throw them directly into a chat with me and you. Hey, this is my girl Kinleigh. She's been doing this for a couple of years. She knows a lot about the products. She's going to help figure out what would be best for you. And then we kind of go in there, figure it out, and they're like, oh, that's just not my budget. Well, what if we could do 20 off for you tonight? Would that help, get you started, see what you think about them? Sometimes it's just on a basis like that, where it's like a spur of the moment, like, all right, if that's going to seal the deal tonight, let's give them that extra off and get them started.
I love that. Can you elaborate? You said before, I think this is so good. And a lot of times, I think a lot of people on my team can say, like, I can't get people to share. I can't. Can you elaborate on you're meeting people in the middle? So, how do you define or catch those that are working with you, those that you're asking to do this or you're giving this some amount of time? How do you steer that or decide where to spend your time as you're growing in business?
Yeah, that's a great question. I think I've learned, again, like, you can tell who wants it. You can tell who's going to show up. If you can't simply show up every morning and either ask me to run your numbers for you if you don't know how, or do it every morning and come up with a goal for the month and come up with, if you can't do that, then I'm not going to come in every day and pour into you. So you just come to me when you need anything. And my girls know that. They know, and there's no hard feelings. Like, again, I have girls on my team that simply sign a couple people a month maybe, and then that's it. And they don't want to take time away from their family outside of their day job. They don't want to invest fully in it. And I always tell them, like, I support that. Just know that I can't come check in every day, right? Like I can't. So you just come to me when you need anything, and they know. They message me, I'm there in a heartbeat. But the ones who really want it, we set goals, we set big goals, we push through those goals, and we get outside of our comfort zones. I help get them outside of their comfort zones. I can't tell you how many girls started with me that are like, I don't like my voice. I'm not talking on stories. I'm like, yeah, you are. Yeah, you are. You are. Do you want to succeed? Get on your stories.
I love it. How do you guys set goals? I think are you Jennifer Cobb's direct downline? Is that accurate? So I've
So it
watched.
it goes Jen, Demi, then me.
Okay. So I know you guys are big on setting goals and you do daily goals and you're tracking those. Can you kind of expound on that or how you've taken that for your own team? How do you set goals? We're here at May 1st. So what would you recommend to everyone on the team to set a goal, obviously at the beginning of the month, but how are you tracking that? Because in that middle of the month, you can start to get lost, you're getting discouraged. How do you guys push past that or have daily, weekly goals, check-ins, all the things?
Yeah, so it's definitely like we set at the very first day of the month, it's like, here's my goal for the month. And it's based on what we're projected at. So we look at obviously subscriptions that are set to run, all of that. That's where you get your projection, right? So obviously it's gonna most of the time drop from the month before, unless you're like a brand new silver or whatever. So obviously when you're sapphire, emerald, sapphire, and diamond, you get some big drops and it makes you sick to your stomach. But so we take that number, and okay, so like my number this morning was, like, I ended the month at 5,500. This morning it was like a little over 4,500. Okay, that's 1,000 point drop. That's a lot, but normal. And I'd like to end at 6,500 this month. So I would take 6,500, subtract the 4,500. That's going to give me a number. Divide that number by 5, my average point order. I have a lot of level ones, so my average point order is like 4.97 or something. It's pretty good. And I divide it by that and then divide it by the amount of days in the month. So I think right now my goal is maybe 13 orders a day, something like that. And we do that every day though. We do that every single day because it's going to change, because people are going to turn subs off. People are going to return products. Attrition happens all throughout the month. These first 5 to 10 days, it'll keep dropping if we don't keep up with it. So we try
I
to get ahead of it.
And then it doesn't make as big of a push at the end of the month if you're staying on top of it like that. So would you say your main thing is mindset? Like how, so if you say I have 13 orders today, okay, we've got caught in the rut of like, okay, I'm saying I have 13 orders. Now I'm saying I have 26 orders. Now I'm saying, so if nothing's happening in the day, what would your encouragement be?
That's a really good one. I feel like it's such a like thing that people are like, nope, there's no slow days, there's no slow days. And it's like, but every single month, my husband's like, every single month, you complain about how it's slow, how it's this, how it's that. I'm like, it's just that first little part of the month is just slower than the end of the month. It just is. And it always is like that. And I wish it wasn't. Um, but what we try to do is out of the gate, like, yes, we want to breathe a little bit on the first, especially for the people who hit the big ranks, but take a breather for a second. Most of us haven't even taken a breather today, if I'm being honest. We're in our chats, we're at it. Like I have so many girls that want big goals. I think, but like you said, mindset is huge. And we literally like on our team, we talk about mindset all the time and we will call each other out and be like, your mindset. Do you hear yourself right now? If you think that, I'll send this video. I'll send it to you after you can send it to your team. It's a video I send everyone. It's like this guy way back in the day, but he basically is like, think of what you want in your life. Write it down on a piece of paper, read it every day. Read it over and over and over. And as you read that, it will start to, and it's just like this, start to believe it. And when you start to believe it, start to speak it, and it's such like a easy thought that I think we forget that that is how we get success. If you want it, just do it. That's it. Just do the work.
I love it. I love it. I love it. I love it. Okay. Does pop any more questions here if you guys have them? I don't want to make this super long. I thought like 30 minutes is perfect because like she said, a lot of us are still taking breaths from last night. We hit
Mhm.
goals, rocked and rolled. And we're going to push that right over into May. Okay. May, I feel the momentum here. We have the double rank bonuses. And if you have questions, pop them here. I'm going to end with this. If there are no more questions, on Sunday morning, my husband was preaching a message on transition, and he just said the simple phrase, vision without strategy is just a fantasy. And as soon as he said that, I just had like all these downloads, and my heart was just huge for our team. And I felt like the Lord was like, this is it. If we can grab a hold of strategy, like what is your strategy for May? And do that work. We have to partner. I think a lot of you guys, you have the vision of what you want, and now we just have to implement the strategy that the Lord wants for each of your teams. So I feel like a lot of you have the vision of what this could look like, but you don't have or believe in the strategy that you're currently taking for it to become a reality. So it stays more in that dreamland. But dreams become a reality when we're partnering our prayers with the action that's needed and the blueprint that our team is supposed to look like. So all of our teams look differently. Kinleigh's team probably has 1,000 different legs that look a little bit different, but they're putting in action and doing the work to see fruit and the needle to move. So find that blueprint. How will your team operate? What do you want that vision to look like to continue to go forward? And what will the action steps be that we need to take to get there? I love Kinleigh's team. They are doing daily action and they're not in a reactive mode at the end of the month because they are proactive. Yes, of course, the end of the month, we're always going to have momentum and be able to kick it into full gear, but it's a whole lot easier if we're proactive before that. So I'm praying for you guys. There's going to be divine strategy that's implemented to each leg, what the goal you have, and we're going to partner our visions with the blueprint from heaven and create the businesses that God has birthed from the beginning. So I'm super, super excited about May. Kinleigh, thank you so much. I'm going to end with this last question. I just saw a question pop up in the chat, and then we'll let you go. Thank you so much for pouring into our team tonight. Okay, Brianna, as you were talking about senior gold being the hardest, I'm like, this is her. So speak to her tonight. It says, I've been going towards senior gold for so long. I know you said it was difficult rank to hit. Any additional advice for her to move past her slower season?
This is great because my girl Maddie, who is on here right now, just hit senior gold yesterday. And it has been, Maddie, I don't know if you can type in the comments of how long you've been going for senior gold, it's been months and months, and she's had some things happen in her life that 7 months, she said. Yeah, 7 months. She's had some things happen in life and some obstacles and, unavoidable things, but also she she just wasn't ready to show up daily for a little bit. And fully show up. There's a difference between coming in and being like, "Hi, hey," and she had a different passion about her last month. And of course, she got another girl on her team, and I think that that helped so much. And she poured into her, and she's building this little team, and it's like she's showing up differently because she's ready for it now. And I'm not saying that you're not showing up. I don't know you obviously, but I think if what you're doing isn't working, try something new. Maybe do some business reach outs. Maybe, talk to your customers you have right now that love their products and ask if they'll make a post for you. Exhaust all options. Get on your stories and talk. Make the posts, go live, try new things, like do everything you can. Like Maddie had, I mean, she was down to the wire, and I was like, she's like, I still have 5 orders. I still have 5 orders. We had like, it was like 8 p.m. or something. And I was like, go live, go live, spill your heart to the world. Tell them what this means to you. People care more than you guys think. They care more than you think about what your goal is. I think for a while in the beginning of my journey, I felt really icky about talking about the business because I was afraid that my VIP customers would think that I was only in this to make money. So it was really hard for me to wrap my head around. And once I started to just let go of that and just like blast about the business, because this is such a great opportunity. What a blessing for anyone who can find this opportunity and be a part of such a great community and such a great business with amazing products. So take all of that into consideration and just pour your heart out to the world, girl, because they want to help.
Yes, I love that. Daily activities. And Bree, we can talk creatively after. She's about to have a baby too. This is her goal was senior gold and birth a baby this month. So we're gonna birth all the things this month. I'm super excited about it. I feel like for me this month, when we went to Punta Cana, I think I just had like enough is enough. And I feel like I have been on the leaderboard or I have, been on earned all the trips and I was done not seeing my team win and soar. And so I've had a passion for finding those with new fire. And what I found was bringing in new business builders who are excited about the business, others than caught fire, right? Christy Arias had the highest points that she's ever had. Or you have Jess Jerusik, who just went Ruby last month. And I feel like when we're bringing in new fire starters, it's going to ignite fire in those that have been sitting on your team. And they're like, maybe I do want this. And you just really never know when somebody's going to jump in. So, Kinleigh, thank you so, so much. We always end our Zooms in prayer. So I'm going to pray really quickly and then everybody can hop off. Lord, we just thank you so much for who you are. God, I thank you, Lord, for each of our teams. I thank you for what you're doing. I thank you for everything that you did in April. I pray for divine strategy. I pray that you would just bless Kinleigh as her and her team have come and poured out so beautifully tonight. God, I pray that you would just bless our teams, give them high favor, and exalt yourself in the midst of it. Lord, we thank you for this month, and we pray that this week and this weekend is just full of your joy and your presence. In Jesus' name, amen. All right. I love y'all. Have a great night. Let's go get May.